Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Coach's Box number 70 today. Our Summer Breeze edition. Ray Halbrook with live stream STL. How you doing? Hope everybody's having a great, wonderful evening. Nice, cool night tonight here. We are live tonight from TJ's Bar and Grill out in Peebly, Missouri. Had to call an audible a little bit. Had a party over at La Pachanga. So got the boys over here. Guys, how is everything going?
Are we on?
I don't know. Are you on? Oh, okay. Now you're
Technical-ish
just the man,
right?
Just the host of the show is on. That's
man.
That's it.
That's how it works, you know. So it is what it is.
Well, Ray, if we're ready, we'll just cut right into it, and let's talk a little bit about the Major League Baseball trade deadline.
Well, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, our Matt Carpenter is not here because Miller is batting about what Matt Carpenter is when it comes to showing up for shows. So he's actually at the stadium right now, I think, with his daughter.
Right.
Watching. Is Matt in the lineup today? I didn't look.
Let's hope not.
I mean, Arenado went.
He already went yard once.
Yeah, went yard once. So good start, but yeah.
Since he's not here, there we go. Thank you.
You could do sound effects, huh? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, but trade deadline, I mean, we had our show last week. We were kind of right at that edge of when it was going to be over with. So what's your thoughts on the Major League Baseball trade deadline?
The Cardinals suck. The Cardinals suck. Walt Jocketty didn't want to – or Walt Jocketty. The idiot.
What?
Mo.
Where are you at, man?
Boy, Walt Jocketty in my head. I was hoping it was Walt Jocketty.
God.
We'd have like Edmonds or something. But
right?
Somebody like him anyway, at least.
The wallet didn't open like we all knew it wasn't. They weren't planning on doing anything.
Nothing.
The wallet.
No, they got Arenado in their status quo. Still probably filling the stadium up every week, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that
John Lester, he pitched well last night.
he pitched well for about maybe one pitch.
He was
At the beginning of the
entertaining
game.
with the umpire. That entertained me. But other than that, the game was awful.
It was over after the first inning. I mean, completely over. Give up 5 runs.
I mean, he did great in the first inning. That was awesome, right?
Phenomenal. But, you know, I think the biggest thing about what the trade deadline did, you know, for Major League Baseball was you didn't see a lot of teams make a lot of moves except for maybe the Chicago Cubs. I mean, they got rid of their basically entire roster.
Yeah, that dynasty lasted all of not long.
Yeah,
about 5 minutes.
You know, basically went from a pro team to maybe a double A.
If you
maybe
weren't New York,
a low end triple A team.
if you weren't New York, you weren't L.A.,
Yep.
you weren't San Francisco.
Right.
I mean, the teams that have money were spending it.
The White Sox
look at
spent a little money.
Yeah, White Sox did. Look at L.A., the Dodgers. I mean, how many people can you load up on one team?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, that tells you what this buys. It gets you whatever you want.
Well, is that going to help them?
The rich got richer, as you said. Yeah.
Rich got richer. Is that going to help get them over the hump? I mean, isn't San Francisco still, right now anyway, first in the division? I mean, if you're L.A., can't you see both sides of the argument? Like, I mean, we're right here. We're within striking distance. Yes, we have money. We got to go out and win. We got to go out and defend the title that we won last year. And
Well, you know, we got a comment on here already. Come on, Lester had one bad inning and then didn't look bad.
Are
after
you
that.
seriously, Kevin? You must be on the paid payroll of the Cardinals because that's what you sound like. You sound like Dan McLaughlin and all these other people that are fed all the Cardinal crap. Oh, yes, we're going to go make the team better. Oh, Lester's 30-something years old, a cancer survivor. He's done.
Yeah.
Well, we brought it up. Somebody said, hey, we got John Lester. I said, great. Is this 03?
Yeah.
That would have been
What
awesome.
Year, what year is this?
I mean, this ain't like, he's not pitching like Wainwright is.
No.
And then who was the other bum? I don't even remember.
Jay Happ.
Yep.
Yeah, Jay Happ.
I mean, it's only second inning, but, I mean, he's looked pretty
far.
good in his Cardinal debut.
Oh, my gosh. When the fast lane was going through his stats, they were awful.
Oh, my gosh.
I want to know,
bad.
maybe you can expound on it. I want to know, what do you think the thought process is in getting guys that are, I mean, they're in the twilight of their career, right?
Here's what I think.
What's the point?
I think that the biggest thing that the Cardinals were looking for was some kind of leadership amongst the clubhouse, someone that's been a proven winner, someone that's maybe won an opportunity, had a chance to win, and been on a winning team or whatever. So I think that maybe because we have a bunch of young guys that don't know necessarily how to win.
It's like making a trade. We're gonna get our 2 stud pitchers back. I mean, why make a trade when we landed these 2 old guys?
What ifs? What ifs?
Basically, our management said, I don't think we can win this year. We may be able to get a wild card if we catch fire. Let's add a couple guys that may help the rotation until we get everyone healthy and back and see what happens.
But Mo said, the day after he said we woke up the day of the last day of the trade deadline and said we're going to make this big time deal today, and then
this big time
it fell through. So we decided to go another route.
I'm tired
of
hearing
big time
that. We've
deal.
heard that.
I mean,
year
every
after
year,
year after
exactly.
year, whether it's free agency or whether it's the trade deadline. I mean, what's the? Yes, we could say Arenado. That's fine. Okay.
They have to sign. They have to sign a shortstop next year.
That's
I'm already boycotting because I don't go to games.
But you look at the stadium right now. I mean, it's freaking like a third capacity right now.
Really?
I mean,
last
weekend series, they were talking about how the capacity was like half of what it typically is. Even
that's COVID.
Even if they thought it was COVID,
well,
they were saying it was even half of that.
It could be.
That's what Mo's going to say. It's COVID.
Now here's the other thing. I mean, we can
spend the money
with what's going on in the local news, is St. Louis City, St. Louis County. Is that part of it? Maybe this future for the rest of the season.
Well,
I mean, where you're going to see these types of attendance numbers with, hey, I don't want to go, or what? Due to the COVID situation?
I think that what the ownership was looking at was, okay, we can salvage. Let's go ahead and pay these couple old guys and try to get them into the system and try to maybe build a clubhouse around their mentality and their leadership skills, and then.
So Waino wasn't enough. Molina's not enough.
I think what my thought process was after reading all of their talks after the day after was that they felt like we didn't have enough proven winners besides Molina and Wainwright, and Molina and Wainwright asked for more guys on the team that were proven winners. Supposedly, now Arenado said he didn't care how they did this year. He wanted to understand that he looked at the future of what the Cardinals were, and that's the reason why he wanted to come here, was because their young farm system is solid as it's ever been. And
I don't
know
about that.
Our farm system
you're top heavy. I mean, you got Liberatore. He's got to go up and throw next year. He has to. Okay, Randy.
The way
Randy
they're talking, he's not.
I'm just saying, Randy A. having another decent year. In Tampa, you've got Gorman. Where's he going to play?
Yeah.
But
Second
you're going to have to bring him up. But have Tommy?
They're not going to go get anyone. It's going to be the same crap. We're going to stick Gorman at second. We're not going to upgrade at shortstop. Well, we pay DeYoung. You're paying DeYoung what? $5 million a year? Who cares?
Go.
Let him be a utility player with Edmund. They both suck anyway. So
bring Sosa.
I mean, and don't even. Ron Rhodes gets on here, I'll really start Matt Carpenter crap. God, he's terrible.
He's done.
So you.
They were talking on 101 about signing Carpenter again.
Sign him
with the
back?
DH. Yeah, with the DH.
No, here you go. DH. Albert
Pujols.
Albert. That one that's going to get you tickets.
Oh yeah.
That's going to get you butts in the seats.
I'll go.
Exactly. I would go. I'll spend.
Agreed.
I'll go spend the $200 or whatever.
I want to
it is.
see Albert.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still mad they didn't sign him this year.
And I think you will see Albert come here for less money if Waino and Yachty stay one more year.
Right.
I think he'll go one more.
They basically said when they interviewed Mo about, because there was a question about Kinzer.
Yeah. He said on obviously on the radio, Kinzer's not even the future. It's the next guy that's
the
down.
Herrera guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How would you like to be Kisner right now?
I'd be furious.
Are you serious?
Be furious.
So what do you do if you're him?
If I'm Kisner's camp, and they were talking about this on the radio, and I'd be like, I want out. I want to go play somewhere because
Let me go.
4 years ago, teams wanted him.
Sure they did.
And then we sat here and diddy-daddled with him
Right.
because we have Yachty, which
Right.
you're not going to put him in.
Right.
But why not use him? Trade.
Yeah.
They were talking about, why couldn't you trade Kinzer, DeYoung, and throw in a pitcher, whether it's Zach Thompson or whatever,
Right.
Well,
and get something.
Folks, we have a Chris Miller sighting.
I see that. I see that. He might be watching
Yeah.
live from Busch Stadium.
Chris Miller sighting.
But
Well, yeah, I was going to say, he's not going to be
he's,
here.
yeah. He's watching the game.
he's commented, Zach McVay, my butt is in the seats tonight, and I have a Star Wars hoodie on.
Hey, there you go. Hey,
Well, he's so dang
yeah.
skinny, he's probably cold.
I bet that Star Wars hoodie doesn't fit it because they usually give out about double X or extra large
Yeah.
ones, and so now he's not going to be able to fit in that anymore. So
you pass it along here. If you can't wear it, I'll wear it. But so let me ask you this, right? Do we need to go from a shift philosophically with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Spend some money.
Okay, so money, but I'm talking about everything now in Major League Baseball is about what? It starts with that A, analytics,
Yes.
right? Do we need, as an organization, to say, you know what, the heck with it? Let's go back to Whitey Ball. Let's go back to something different, because what we're doing right now
Not
and what
working.
we've done since the end years of Matheny hasn't really worked.
well, here's what they'll tell you: we've made the playoffs.
A handful of times.
So what do you want? As that's what they're
Right.
going to ask. But what else do you want?
I
I want to win a World
consistent-
Series.
Well-
I mean, I want a chance to play in a World Series,
Right.
and
I want them
there's
to keep the same status quo they've had.
There's never this.
Making the playoffs.
Oh, but they said they haven't in the
back
10 in
with
the, in
La
the
Russa
Okay.
years.
Okay.
But
Right.
but you look at the program as as far as across the last 2 decades. What is different in this last decade compared to the last 2 before
Well,
that?
it's hitting.
Yeah,
I mean,
100% hitting.
I think you could go right now and look. I would be willing to bet that you probably have less than 20 guys that are batting 300 or better, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
in all of Major League Baseball. Okay.
Yep.
So, if that's the new norm, if 280 is the new 310, then you've got to go out and find guys that are going to get you 30 home runs, 90 plus RBIs, and you're going to have to commit to that. And or, which I think it needs to be both, then you need to go out and you need to find guys that are strikeout pitchers. Who's our strikeout pitcher outside of Flaherty? Who?
Reyes. I mean, our closer.
But he's not. But he's a starter. Okay, starter. Everybody else, they were talking about this on the radio. Everybody's are contact hitters, or they pitch to contact. Excuse
Contact.
me. And so there's nothing formidable about our rotation. All we heard was how great our rotation was going to be this
Our
year.
depth is
It's gonna be
huge.
our depth is just tremendous.
I heard today, Joe Hicks may come back and be a starter instead of a reliever.
I don't think. If
I swear, when I had
if he
ESPN on today,
if he
I heard
comes
they were
in
talking
and
about that. I'm
becomes
like,
a starter, that might be dangerous. And here's the other thing that I think you look at as far as what the difference in the
no
last
hitters in this game are hitting over 300.
5 or 10. That's probably true, Coach. But you look at the last 5 years compared to the last 15, and you say, okay, what's the difference? Well, I think the biggest difference in Major League Baseball is you're seeing less teams build around older people. They get a lot of those younger guys that are hot right now,
Right,
and they're building around that kind of philosophy. Where you look back at the year 2011, 6, Berkman, and that group when the Cardinals kind of committed to those guys.
Right.
You look at that and you say, okay, they went the older generation and built around some of those quality guys that were maybe in their
Hey,
later years of their prime.
sounds like the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
we'll get to that.
We'll get to
but
that
that's-
anyway.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
I think that's where the difference has changed as far as the Cardinals has been concerned. They're more focusing on now. Let's focus on our farm system and how solid it was. Well, our farm system was really good back then too, but we
was.
utilized that
It was.
to build our team right now, and that's why we were successful in those 4 or 5 years because we went out and got guys like Berkman and traded some of our farm system to get that to have a chance to win every year. And I don't think the Cardinals are doing that now because we're more worried about building Ballpark Village number 15 by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah.
I mean, the Busch Stadium's going to be wrapped around with the Ballpark Villages. I mean, it's like going to be a big circle around it. I mean, we've already got 2, and we're going to build another one here soon, I think. Talking about building one over by patios and connecting it all the way across.
And that's fine, and
Crazy.
that's great. Hey, you know what? Have that avenue, and you get another revenue stream, and bring the people in. But once again, and I've said it, it's all about entertainment. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's about it being entertained, and it's not. Now, here's the other part is, I think this feeds into it. At least for us as Cardinal fans, you can't watch it on TV.
No, it's boring.
Well, no, it's just that you can't find it.
Oh, yeah, right now.
You can't find it.
Yeah, you're
right.
right.
I mean, it's not on. Everybody's got to go to streaming networks now. I mean, you got to. It's hardly there.
It's on direct.
It's on direct. I mean, that's
It's
about it.
as boring watching it now as it ever's been. And I don't know necessarily that it's because of the way the game is being played or if it's the way the game is being managed. And I'll say that, you go back.
I still watch.
So-
I don't think it's that boring.
Well, you look at La Russa, okay? You look at La Russa's mindset and with the way he manages his teams. Mm-hmm. He manages his teams strictly off of strategic. Everything is strategic. Everything is number-based.
Right.
He's looking at all the numbers and, firm believer that numbers don't lie. And so, I don't know that Cardinals are managing their team that way. I think the Cardinals are managing their team on feelings. Oh, man, I don't want to hurt that guy's feelings. I'm going to make sure I start him every other day because, he's a good dude and he does the right things the right way, but he may not be very good, but I feel like we need to start him.
Well,
or we need to pay him some money.
Are you talking about Carpenter?
Well,
I mean, because that's what I feel like.
well, him and Edman. I mean, why DeYoung? Why not start Sosa? I mean, right now he's
did you
freaking
see what
hot.
he did? Did you see what he did the other? Yeah. Why is he not?
Why
playing?
is he not in the lineup today? I mean, like what in the world?
You
Like,
got to
what?
win. You got to win now, and you got to win often. And you're talking. You've got to win 2/3, probably plus of your games to even have a chance
Oh yeah.
to make the playoffs as a wild card.
You have to win every series.
Right.
There's not. You have to win basically every series.
I think the Cardinals got to understand that if we'll go back to talking about the Cubs. Look at what the Cubs did. Mm-hmm. Okay, they sold off and got rid of everything possible to rebuild.
Still got their Contreras, don't they?
I was
waiting for him to get gone too.
But you look at what they're going to do. They rode that boat for 5-6 years, won a World Series out of it, and then was pretty competitive and had a chance to another World Series. But you look at the overall picture of what they were trying to do now is they're going to mix it all up, go out and spend some money on some quality guys next year. I guarantee you over the offseason.
Well, the Cardinals are going to have money to spend. They got this person coming off. They got this person coming.
Well,
they have to land it. I mean, I
Shortstop.
cannot. I will not be happy if they don't land a shortstop.
That's not going to happen because you got 2 under contract and you got player control. I mean, so
What do you mean 2 under
you got
contract?
Sosa and DeYoung.
So they ain't going to start him?
I'm just saying you have, in their mind, they're going to have 2 viable candidates at shortstop.
right.
Now, here's the thing where we just said analytics. Go back to the whole Moneyball approach. What was the whole movie? What was the whole premise that Brad
Well,
Pitt
it's all
had-
about the numbers.
all about getting on base.
Yeah,
Correct.
get on base.
Get on base, and you got to score runs.
Yep.
Keep it that simple. Get on base. We don't get on base.
Yep.
We don't hit for average. We're not getting our on base percentage is low. If you're going to keep it that simple to that statistic, you got to go find players that get on base.
I agree.
And I don't care who, but if they're old, young, you got to find them.
Well, and here's the other thing. Has baseball changed to not become America's sport because of the way it's played, the way it's ran, the way it's, put out there? I mean, there's not a lot of excitement around baseball. I mean, you look at these big-time markets. I mean, even you go to New York, you don't see
Right.
and hear about the big-time markets
I think
thriving
that
as
could
far
be
as
sports
fans.
in general. I don't-
How many baseball teams are there that you can just go and play right now as a kid. There's all kinds of teams out there. I mean, baseball's still popular.
It is popular, but here's the thing. Used to 10 years ago, there wasn't this many teams. Mm-hmm. There wasn't this many programs putting together baseball. So now everybody's playing it, but is everybody learning it? And is everybody filling out what it takes to be successful? You got a lot of – I mean, you're part of it. You see it. Mm-hmm. Even starts at the Little League levels. You got so many programs and so many teams building up now where you're just taking kids for this instead of teaching the game and making them learn the game, understand the game, and how to play the game. I think that has been a lost art. I've seen it in my own eyes in the last few years of being around it more.
And we talked a little bit about that, I think, last week with the idea of athletes. I mean, you look at the best players in baseball, for the most part, outside of Trout. You could say Judge or whatnot, but it's foreign-born players. I mean, it is. And maybe it's because now, once again, they're putting a premium on entertainment, bat flips, this, that, and the other, but they're more exciting. But I think they also, I don't want to say play harder, but, I mean, they go out of their way to be ultra-competitive.
Sure they do.
I mean,
yeah. But, I mean, I still go back to this philosophy of the way the Cardinals are as an organization. I don't believe that they're about winning.
Not this year. I mean, the fact that they put out next year's schedule today.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's look forward to 2022. I think that says all you need to know about their plans for the rest of the season.
We're not worried about winning, and we haven't been for 3 years.
Right.
Honestly.
Right.
We're okay with just making the playoffs. And that's solid enough for us right now. Mm-hmm. And because making the playoffs and winning, and I think this is a firm thing that we talk about this all the time. When you go to the games and every game is sold out, why do they want to change it? It's still sold out every week. Every game is sold out. Every weekend series is standing room only. I mean, you look at the standpoint of that. If they're not going to change anything they're doing, as long as us fans don't change the way we're going about it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I feel like maybe needs to be a little bit more of adjustment. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Real nice.
Yeah.
But I think that's the kind of change that maybe needs to be made more, as we're worried about building, like I said earlier, about the ballpark villages, and are we trying to put people in the stands? Or are we trying to make money outside the stands?
Well, what's the philosophy? I mean, we just said the rich get richer, right? I'll ask this. There's a salary cap in football. There's a salary cap in hockey. There's a salary cap in basketball. Does there need to be some type of salary cap in baseball? Do we like what's going on? Is it good for the game? Is it good for the sport? Good for the league? I mean, what's your opinion on that? Because part of me is okay with, we said off air, man, the Dodgers, they just go out and they spin. Part of me is okay with that. If you have the resources, do it, because you're at least trying to get better.
Right.
But then on the flip side is, are you crippling your sport and ultimately your league when it's only 3-4, like you said last week about college football. It's only 4, 5, 6 teams that are ever going to have a chance of winning. So, you know what I mean? What do you think?
Well, I don't think I think the salary cap is a big-time deal if you look at it as far as how it's approached. I don't know the salary cap is approached the right way in a lot of those sports. And, what is the emphasis on a salary cap in your eyes? What do you think?
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, the whole idea is it's competitive balance, and you're trying to make sure that, I don't know, if you're an owner, that you're still going to turn a profit. I mean, that's the goal for these owners. They want to make money, right? And I think for the league, ultimately, it's a competitive balance type of thing. Now, it could be the fact that, well, you have a salary cap, you don't have ungodly paychecks, and people are making $400, $500, $600+ million to, shoot a basketball or, a hockey puck or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, we can talk about the moral issue.
Interesting question to ask a Pittsburgh fan.
Very true. Yeah.
Could you? Kevin put on here, I'd probably prefer a salary floor.
Good. I mean, we look at it that way. I think that's something that would be more beneficial to us as viewers, as people that watch the games and watch the sports. I think that changes our philosophy as far as that goes. Does a cap do more for the players or the owners?
That's for the owners. I mean, you talk about capitalism, free market, and all of that. I mean, you look at LeBron James, right? LeBron James became the first active player to currently have $1 billion. Well, $700 million of that is his endorsements. He's only had $300 million worth of contracts.
Correct.
But then you look at Garrett Cole, who, a handful of years ago, signed his 10-year, $300+ million deal. Well, that's one contract on top of what he already made in the 6 years prior. To reaching free agency. So from a player's perspective, you're going to, hey, show me the money, right? It's all about maximizing your talent while you have, while you're available. Right. But I don't know.
I think that the biggest thing going forward, and I believe that as far as salaries, but as far as the game of baseball, if the game of baseball doesn't change the way it's played, I think it's
going to lose out.
You're just definitely going to do it,
and that's why they've tried to do all these rule changes. Well, that's the music, and we're going to kind of piggyback off into the NBA and their free agency frenzy that's happened.
It's been more exciting than baseball. I'm serious. Right now, I would. I mean, it's something. It was something every hour.
I agree.
So we'll talk about that when we come back from commercial. Ray, go ahead and take us out.
Thanks so much to TJ's Bar and Grill, especially for having us out here in Peebly. Check them out over here at I-55 at Highway Z at 6167. Give them a call, 636-475-3648 or tjsbaringrill.com. You are watching The Coach's Box. We will be right back.
Jefferson College has affordable degree options for students of all ages. Plus, register before December 11th and you could win a $250 book scholarship or other great prizes. Jefferson College provides safe on-site and online options and many exciting career pathways like humanities, business, social science and public service, math, physics and technology, and science and health. Students who know, go Jeffco. Enroll now at jeffco.edu.
Tell us we can't, and we'll prove you wrong. Knock us down, and we'll get right back up. Call us risk takers, misfits, bad boys. But we know what we want, and it feels like American muscle. Looks like advanced engineering, and smells like fresh, cut grass. Bad boy. Mow with an attitude.
I do this for the love of the kids. I do it for the love of the coaches and the ADs because there's not enough high school coverage in the St. Louis area. There's just not. Once again, I get to keep my relationships with, guys like you and a lot of the other great coaches and administrators and former athletes. And that's one of the cool things that we're going to do here, too, is, I've been fortunate covering some great coaches and great kids, but, the caravan is, I wasn't letting it die. And sure enough, we're here now, and the reboot is in full effect.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all
I appreciate
sports.
that.
I have a lot of friends that are head basketball coaches, and I've been of course around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key. Hey, Ray Halbrook here with Livestream STL. We hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast. Do us a huge favor. Check out our brand new website, livestreamstl.tkdssports.com. There you'll see plenty of information about your schools, articles about different games and whatnot. And we appreciate you checking that out. Do us a huge favor also. We'd really like for you to mention Livestream STL to your athletic directors and superintendents. Tell them you want us in there to bring high value to your school. We'd appreciate that. And thanks again for watching tonight's broadcast.
Hi, this is Coach Riley Blair from the Herculaneum Black Cats.
Hi, this is Coach Jarvis from the Herculaneum Black Cats.
Hi, this is Zach McVeigh with St. Pius X High School.
Hi, I'm Chris Miller from St. Pius X High School.
And you're watching the Coach's Box.
And you are watching the Coach's Box
on Livestream STL.
It's on Livestream STL.
And we are back for round 2 here of the Coach's Box. Again, thanks for being with us. Like and share our pages today. We'll throw those up here during this segment as well. Follow us over here at Livestream STL and the Coach's Box. We'd appreciate that. As we roll into our next episode here, our next segment, Guy's going to open up the microphones, and we should be good this time around here. So take it away.
Jarvis, you
Man,
got something
we were
to-
looking at that commercial.
Yeah.
God, I was fat. Miller was fat. You were fat.
See,
Crazy, man.
I'm still
was
fat.
was
I'm
is
still
the key word.
I didn't say anything about Zach because he's still fat.
His
I got
his
a lot
latest,
to lose, but I'm down 20.
But we also
Dang,
got
that's good.
We also got to say those commercials were probably
year-
last September
I
or maybe,
was saying,
and
it
yours
was
was
longer,
from
at least
today.
But no, I
What are you
looked,
trying to say, Blair?
Well, we have nothing to compare to.
I looked at that commercial and Chris's face was like this wide. Hey, you guys! I was like,
But
oh
hey-
my God!
Hey, the camera puts on an extra 15, 30, 50 pounds. I'm
Yeah,
just
100
saying.
pounds. Oh,
scary.
man. So Jarvis, everybody that's watching the show, he's all decked out in some purple here.
Damn.
What's the deal? What's
I-
up?
I mean, unlike baseball, I like the old fogies that are
Oh
getting
my
on.
gosh, the geriatrics.
We got Mello.
Wow.
Well, hey, I thought for a split second it was LaMelo, and I'm like, yeah, and then a Mello. He still plays.
Yeah, who is that
Who is
guy?
that?
He averaged like 14 a game last year.
Well, when you shoot 80 times, you ought to.
Hey, I mean, all they need is Dwayne Wade to come out of retirement. I mean, look at. Do you see all
Don't
the
put it
people?
past him.
Here, you
You have
keep
the
talking.
list.
You keep
they
talking.
did
I'll
get
look
some
up.
young
Okay,
guys.
you ready?
They got Monk. He's young. He's like
Right,
23.
20 all right, you ready? Carmelo Anthony's
Ariza.
37.
Ariza, I love him too.
But he's 36.
Yeah.
You got LeBron, who's 36.
No, I don't
Mark
like
Gasol,
LeBron.
he's 36.
Don't like
Oh,
Mark.
my.
Dwight Howard's 35.
I like Dwight.
Westbrook's 32. Anthony Davis,
I
28.
don't like Westbrook.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What? So
The average age is about 32, 33.
At least.
I'm not like.
Wow.
I'm a Laker fan,
right.
and this is making it hard because now we added Russell Westbrook, who I don't like much in either.
Why?
I'm just not.
I love his competitive spirit.
I love his
Oh, yeah.
competitive spirit, but gosh, he's a ball hog, and I just.
I don't know if they will be able to be on this team, though.
Oh, he won't be.
Hey, they talked about it on the radio about him. He will individually get them into the playoffs because he's a great regular season player, all the triple doubles, all that. But when
True.
you get into the playoffs, that's you got to change your style. And I think the Lakers are the favorites. At least they were when
That's
after
what I'm
that
hearing.
trade. But when you talk about load management. I mean. You might have games where there's like 9 guys available because everybody else has to rest.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, and you look at all the other free agency. I mean, it was a frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just was. And
Dude, it was awesome to watch.
do you like that though? So we all grew up. Okay, we grew up. Jordan, even back further, Bird, Magic, but Barkley. the Dream Teamers, all of that, right? Do you think that would have happened with those guys back then? Do we have different colored visors on? I don't like it. I don't necessarily I like it for them personally because, hey, you're going to go make money. But is it good for the game? Is it good for I want to see those guys stay, and I want to see them try and compete and win in a city that's, hey, this is my career. What do you think?
Well, I think that's the point that I think maybe we were trying to make with baseball, and maybe these guys, maybe the Lakers decided that, hey, maybe we want to try to have a chance to win with these guys, and we'll put me together with some of the best, and let's see what we can do, from the past. Not necessarily the best of the best right now, but the best of the best from the past, and put them all on one team, and let's see what we can do. Have a chance to maybe win a world championship. I think it's a smart move by the Lakers. I don't. What do you got to lose? What have you got to lose?
Once again, you're gonna
bring this last year for the Lakers. I mean, what happened to them?
Yeah, they won in the bubble.
I mean, they did sign some young guys too. They signed Talon Horton Tucker,
right?
Wayne Ellington, Malik Monk, but there was a lot of guys. Kendrick Nunn. I mean, I don't know. They brought back Kent Bazemore. I mean, Dwight Howard. I just liked it because it entertained me.
Right.
Just watching all the teams and all these people going different places and everything.
Well, Coach Winkler says, how many balls will the Lakers need to keep everyone happy when they go to the offensive end?
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine. I mean, look at that.
If they're winning, it won't matter.
Well, that's exactly right. But what if they're not? How do you think that changes the philosophy?
I mean, if it's
they're going to have to score points because every time Mel's on the floor, it's 4 on 5.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I mean, you're I don't know. I mean, Jarvis, you know more about the Lakers.
Well, there's not much defense in the NBA anyway.
Okay, so you're going to put a premium on offense. To me, I go back and
they did lose a lot of defensively this way. But
oh my goodness, yes.
I look at this for the Lakers specifically. 2 things. One is this foreshadowing for LeBron to say, "Is this it?" And then 2, what's to say if you're Anthony Davis? Hey, I thought I came over here to be the man, and we're going to build around me. And now, obviously, we've got LeBron, who's the best right now in the league. I think he's
the best.
And so, it's winning time now. But if you're Anthony Davis, you also got to think about the future.
Future, right. Right.
Did you guys just say you think LeBron's the best in the league now?
Yeah. I think he is.
I think he's the best ball player in the league. Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know
overall
if
game. Now, I mean, we can sit here and say if you're going to make a character on 2K, who's the best 3-point shooter, who's the best defender, but you talk about overall game, a guy that if you got a number 1 draft pick that you have to win a game right now, that's who you're gonna take. Just like you got an NFL game, you got one football game that you need to win. Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I don't know. I if I need to win a game, I'm probably picking Kevin Durant.
I don't know.
And look at Steph Curry too. I mean,
Steph has always
I'm just
been
not
able to create,
a LeBron fan. Like when the Lakers got him, I went, man.
Is it his on the court or his off the court? Makes you not a fan.
It's just a combination of everything. I just don't, ever since he said that made me the greatest or whatever, I was like,
what's that when he said, give me my respect or something?
Oh,
yeah.
Give my respect.
And Levine, he just said that while he's over in the Olympics with his contract that's coming up. And so that it's a different era. Like I said, Michael Jordan, you think Michael Jordan would have said something like that? No, he's going to let his play.
No, because he's the GOAT.
Let me go out and play.
Right.
Let me show you what I'm going to do.
I don't care what player, what
I'm not going to talk
era.
about what I'm gonna do.
If you're going to tell me you pick out of everyone that's played ever in the NBA, I'm picking Michael Jordan.
Sure I am.
Sure
I am. And I might go say that Larry Bird was one of those guys.
Oh, yeah, Larry Bird.
But as far as the way the game is played on both ends of the floor, I mean, you got to put LeBron as the best player right now on both ends of the floor. Now, off the court, maybe not so much.
Dude,
but
if you
but
seen
you put
the
him on
clips
the floor.
of him, though, He doesn't
You're gonna see-
hustle.
you're
He,
gonna see
like,
the things that
turns
people
the
don't wanna
ball over, and then he'll stand there and watch. I mean,
Now that's
Jordan would have never done that.
I know,
Ever.
but that is. But
Larry
that's
Bird would have
also-
never done that.
That's
Ever.
also the philosophy.
Hold
that's
on
also
a
the-
second.
That's also the
Hold on a
culture.
second.
Uh-oh.
What?
There's something that Jarvis and I have in common. I completely
It took
agree
70
with that.
70
Completely.
shows.
I mean, it was in the playoffs. LeBron turned the ball over and never got across half court. I'm screaming. I looked at Dylan. I said, "If you ever do that," and I can't stand it.
Right, right.
Well-
but it's a cultural thing going
Yes.
from the 90s,
Oh, my
2000s
gosh.
to now.
Play some
Think about
defense
this.
for the love of Pete.
Think about this. You have grown
Well, it's
men
not even really basketball
that are
anymore,
6'7",
but
6'8", 260 pounds of pure muscle that I see whine and gripe and complain more than any other human being in
Every
the world.
call made.
Every call. Why?
Well,
Oh,
Dude,
that
they're
drives
worse
me
than
nuts.
all three of us combined as
I
a
know.
coach.
but how many times?
And
How
four
many
with
times
Miller.
do you see?
And with Miller.
How many times do you see as kids at the high school level now emulating
Start
that?
seeing it. I know. Well, AAU and all that.
Well,
and then-
that's all it is in the AAU.
I've had a couple that I've just yanked out of the game and said,
Right.
and they knew. They came over, they knew as soon as they came out, I go, I know, coach. Well, then don't do it.
Yeah.
I know, and I was talking to an AAU coach just past week about that, and he's like, he's also a college coach, but he coaches some AAU teams, and I'm like, dude, like the way the game has changed as far as you go and watch an AAU game, and it's completely 100% about offense. There is no defense being
Well,
played.
it's all showcase.
But when you go look at a college basketball game, it's all about defense. So what good is that creating those kids in their minds that all I got to do is shoot the ball well and I'm going to play?
Because a college coach
No.
will say, we can turn you into a defender.
That's
we can
exactly
make you a
what they're
defender.
gonna tell you.
We need that skill set.
3-2 now.
But is that true?
Solaire just homered.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
true.
you have to have a skill set.
Yes, it
I
is.
don't think it's true all the way, though.
You have to.
No, I agree.
Hey,
I don't know,
it's
man.
the whole thing. Is it the X's and the O's, or is it the Jimmies and the Joes? And at the end of the day, it's always going to be about the Jimmies and
Well,
the Joes.
I'm a firm believer that if you can play defense, I'm going to find a way to put you on the floor.
Right.
You can be the worst offensive player on the team, and I'm going to find a way to put you on the floor if you can play defense.
Right.
And a lot of younger kids don't understand that
But
concept.
you can't have 5 people like that on the floor.
No,
now you can,
no,
but you're still going to
no.
lose by 30
Nope.
instead of losing by 70. But I get it, and I 100% agree that at our level, it's about heart, it's about effort, it's about commitment, it's all of that. But when you get into college, let's just face facts. It's an exchange. You go to college, you are exchanging goods and services.
Sure.
My service is to play basketball. You are giving me a college scholarship or a college
Well,
degree.
now, though,
it's a business.
I'm making I'm making money on my name.
Names.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Man,
But
Thank you,
you look at
NCAA.
But you look
I'm going to
at
start marketing. I can make some money off of Jughead.
You got like 50,000 jobs right
don't
now.
have to
I
worry
know.
about that.
I know. I need a job that I don't have to work at and pays me.
No,
Gosh.
what they need is just a big picture of your head, and you could call it Jughead, and they have it at the
Nah,
games, and
man.
they,
Hey,
you know what I mean?
If you
Now
want to
we're
market
thinking.
something,
Hey,
hey,
now
TM,
dude,
10%. I'll take
you got to
10%
mark
on that.
these, baby. You got to mark the guns, baby.
Oh, the gun show.
Hey, right here it is.
And I'm gonna end up with-
Sun's out, guns out. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I was just trying to entertain.
Are you not
I mean,
entertained?
I want to have more than 4 viewers here. You know.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
you
We're up
look
to
at
7 right now.
you look at
okay.
as far as defensive players, and how many times do you hear a kid say, "Man, I love playing defense"?
Few and far between. Few and far between.
How many times do you hear that?
Now in football, you hear that a lot.
Well, shoot,
but,
yeah,
but,
because
but
you can
not,
hit somebody, like beat the crap out of somebody. It's okay.
but in basketball, no.
Yeah, I mean, no, and so I think that's the way the game has changed as far as in the pro level, and
Hey,
you look
nobody
at-
asked you how many steals you had
No.
after the game.
Yeah,
They asked you how many
right,
points.
How many points
Here's
you
a
have.
question. Here's a question. I just thought of this for all 3 of you guys, and maybe even if Miller is watching, but
He ain't watching.
He's
he's
done watching.
probably not. Well,
He's
no,
done.
he is watching. I think
He's
he is.
He's just got it
Anyway,
on his
He just
phone.
got it on. Matt Carpenter Jr.
but
Batting 125 on the
But
show.
here's the question: have you ever had a chance to get a kid to buy in for defense? Like literally sell them and say, "Man, you would make one, you know what kind of defensive player
Yeah.
I've had one.
And,
That's-
and,
I've had
and,
a
you've,
couple.
and you've got one.
Yep.
And what was
Yep.
what did that look like as far as the process and being able to transition that kid
I'll go
into
back
being
to
that
when
way?
I was really, really young. My first couple years out at Grandview as a young new head coach, we had a player who had zero skill offensively, and she knew it. But we had the conversation of, I need you to shut down the other team's best point guard.
Yeah.
Like, that's your job. I don't care if you score. Matter of fact, I don't want you to score. You don't have to have the ball in your hand because you know and I know that's too much pressure for you. And she, yeah. So go play defense on that person. And as soon as you get tired, let me know. As soon as you're ready to go, you're going to go right back in, face guard, full court. That's it.
But let me ask you this. Oh, Ben. Oh, look at that.
They just ran into Ben.
Yeah.
I saw that. I
Yeah.
saw that.
But here's my question: How many times can you hide? How many defensive players can you hide on offense compared to how many offensive players can?
How many good offensive players do we have?
How many can you hide on defense? I mean, let's say I have
How many?
Let's
how
say I
good
have
are
two
they?
good.
It depends on how good they are on offense. Are you
I
talking
mean-
double-digit scores that are going to be the
you,
bulk? I can hide two.
I can
You hide them. You hide them by playing a zone.
but I can hide one good defensive stud.
Right.
I can hide one good defensive stud on offense.
Right.
But I cannot hide two.
No.
There's no way you can hide two good defensive studs that can't score on offense. There's no way possible in it.
It depends on your opponent. Now you're trying to win a district title, ain't happening
No.
because you have to have scoring. You're in class 3, class 4. You better have 3 or 4 scores. Whatever class we're in, that's how many scores you have to have. Minimum.
Right.
Minimum.
Right.
Right. That's
So
kind of the
you're
adage.
saying I got to have 4 scores next year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here we
boy.
go.
Oh man.
Hey, unless you guys drop down to class 3.
Nah,
you know?
doubt that's
that-
going to happen. Probably
That
our
ain't
enrollment's
gonna
going to
happen.
double, triple,
Yeah.
over 600 probably.
Well-
But you know, I mean, we were talking about that. Like, I would love to put a defensive player and say, "Hey, I want you to play defense." And that's all I want you to do is focus on your defensive pressure. How many times do you look at the kid thinks, "Man, that's awesome. I'd love to do that."
The
I
one,
did have one that really.
But you think about that. At the end of the day, who's the kid that's getting the most camaraderie outside of us as coaches saying, "Hey, you did a great job." Mom and Dad goes home, "Man, you didn't score any points tonight." Yeah, but I had freaking 7 steals and I had 2 charges taken.
And
Man,
we've talked about
this is
this all
common.
year. It's about understanding your role, buying into your role, believing.
There isn't a role
but
anymore.
The,
It's
the other
sad.
thing, but the thing
Drives me
is,
nuts.
I still think there are kids out there that if you told them that, they're probably just like, whew, and relieved. Like I don't have to focus on that. I'm not gonna. It's kind of like being a safety in football.
Oh yeah.
You know, a D lineman messes up, misses a tackle. That nobody really sees that. You're that free safety and you miss a tackle. Everybody in the
knows.
world.
In my 6 years at Hergy, I've had. I mean, I could go back way back to my early years and L.J. Nelson. He turned himself into an offensive player, but he was just a defensive player for me.
Agreed.
Tyler Reuter
Agreed.
was a defensive player for me, but turned himself into an adequate point guard. And so there's kids out there. It's just few
I can
and far
teach-
between.
Here's what my
You can't
philosophy.
teach that heart.
You can't teach hard
And
on defense.
like rebounding. We're struggling in rebounding.
You can rebounding can be taught, but there has to be a desire.
Well, and that's what I'm
that's
saying.
what
I've
you're
been
saying,
working on rebounding. He can attest. For the
lot.
last 3 or 4 years, I mean, I've been drilling it because we're not very tall.
But
and
think
I
about
still
it.
don't.
But
They don't have the mentality.
Because what do they see when if they watch TV or play 2K?
Well, there's no Dennis Rodman
everybody's-
going around.
Everybody's jumping and tipping, and
Well,
nobody's doing that.
What does
boxing
defense
out.
take that offense doesn't?
Effort,
Heart.
heart,
Heart and effort, right?
commitment.
I
Yeah.
can teach anybody to shoot.
Right.
You can teach any kid to shoot. I mean, 100% you can teach them to shoot, but you can't teach them to work hard. You
Right.
can't teach them to have a heart to want to go out there and take 5 charges a night or to, to be in the right spot defensively to get a steal. You can't teach that. They either have it or they don't.
I go
I
back-
can teach a kid right form to shoot a shot.
I go
mean,
back and
night
coach.
and day.
You're in
Anybody
this
can
right
do that.
now. I go back and I liken that to linemen in football.
Mm-hmm.
There is not, at least what I've seen over the last decade, 15 years, there is a decline in the number of linemen that are playing football. You tell me you're in it.
Oh, we have. Like we went to
Committed to that lineman.
position.
Uh-huh.
You know, when we split up positions, we've been averaging 10 to 12 linemen.
And that's for two levels.
Yeah, so we're trying to decide who's going to move to line from
Right.
other positions, just
Why?
because.
Because you don't get any love in the paper. You don't get any love.
You're right.
With the stands, and it's the biggest, most grueling position on the on the field. I
Right.
mean, it just is.
Yep.
Well,
we
and
got way off on basketball
That's fine.
tangent.
Hey,
But no, I mean,
that's fine.
but it's a
That's
part
I like
of
it.
I think,
like it.
but, and we're talking about the LeBron,
Yeah.
no defensive player.
Right.
And I think Coach Winkler said what bothers me most about LeBron is his flop.
Flop.
But I think that's 100% true. Is okay. Hey, I'm an offensive guy. I know I can score 40 a night, but when my shot's not on and I have a bad night offensively, I want to find a way to figure out how to play on the defensive end, and I don't think that's a perfect example of,
Like Miller said, Coach, I want to get buckets.
well, that's what it's all
Buckets!
about. That's what it's
I'm
all
here for
about, man.
buckets.
Well,
Who
you talk
cares?
about LaFlop. That just goes to show once
LaFlop.
again, like baseball and the foreign influence, that's the international influence on the NBA game. If you've had a chance to watch the Olympics at all, which that could be our topic that we discuss after we come back from break, but you watch it, that's ingrained in them to try and pick up cheap charges where guys aren't looking, aren't paying attention. It's just part of the game.
Right,
It's just,
it is.
It's bringing, as Miller would love to hear, is bringing that soccer mentality into the game of basketball.
True.
I mean,
true. But the toughness part of it, I don't know that toughness. How much toughness does it take to be an offensive threat?
I don't know about it. Takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of skill and a lot of effort and energy. But when you talk about toughness, maybe if you're a post player, I'll tell you what it takes for the girls that are post players. It takes a lot of toughness because you get basically assaulted and accosted every game, and you don't get fouls called.
Nope.
And you feel sorry for your girl, and you look back at him and you say, "I know you're getting fouled. I know. I see the bruises after the games."
That never happens, does it?
And while there's a little bitty old touch foul with the guards over the top, anyway, we
let that go. But
Yeah.
but the point of your making there is you've got to be tough.
Yeah.
To play defense.
Right.
But you've also got to be tough to do offense, in my mind, if you want to be successful. If all you're doing is shooting,
that's not enough.
I mean, is that good enough?
No.
And I don't think so.
No.
What do you think, Coach?
What do you always say? Two-way. What's the first way that's going to get you on the court? I've heard you say it a million times.
I always say, can you ball handle or can you play defense?
Can you dribble?
Yeah, but I mean, I can take a kid if they can handle the ball. They don't have to score.
Right. Yeah. Oh well,
because in boys basketball,
I've said that.
Face some teams. If you can't handle the ball, if you, as a team can't handle the ball, you can't just have one guy.
No.
I think I've talked to this girl that's sitting here helping Ray tonight a lot about that. I don't care how many times you can score.
I think that's a lost skill.
I don't care how many times you can score.
What?
But at the end of
Dribbling,
the day,
ball handling.
Oh yeah, it is.
But nobody wants to do that.
No.
Because
it's boring.
It's boring.
But
if I'm not scoring, I'm just passing the ball. That's all I'm
but
doing.
if a guy can shoot 40% over 40% from three, you're going to find somewhere to put
Doesn't
him
matter
out
if
there.
you can't get the ball to him.
Here's what I'm almost
That's
going
what
to
I
tell
tell
you.
him.
If I can handle the basketball and I can get to the rim and get fouled and I can shoot 90% from the free throw line, am I going to play you?
Yeah.
If I can distribute the ball or get to the rim,
No,
I
wasn't arguing that. I'm just saying you're going to find a shooter a spot.
Absolutely, you should. You should. But at the same time, if you're thinking find somebody that can ball handle and get to the rim and finish, and maybe get to the free throw line, can shoot 90% from the free throw line, I'm gonna find a way for that person to play.
Yeah.
Because they can handle the ball. They can get to the rim. They can distribute. They can find a way to handle the basketball. And I don't think that's a part of toughness that a lot of kids don't want to do. They don't want to find that toughness to find a way to get to the rim to score, or find a way to get to the ball to the post, or kick the ball back out for your shooter in the corner, or whatever. Hey, I'm not in the highlight. I'm not scoring, but I'm doing what it takes to be successful.
Well, and I think that's going to actually lead us into our next segue with our next topic. But
Segue.
right now, so Ray, go ahead and take us out.
Here's my team. If you can handle the ball and you can hit a mid-range jumper, you're on my team.
Mid-range
because
jumper?
you know what? Nobody else does that anymore. There you go.
Mid-range.
Give me that mid-range all day long. I got one good three-point shooter and a big boy down below.
Excellent criteria for floor time, Coach Jarvis.
There you
Coach
go.
Winkler said.
I like it. We're going to step aside for this particular segment here. You are watching the Coach's Box. We will be right back.
Hey, Dalen, check this out. It says right here, your father and I are second cousins. We're related.
Well, if that's the case, you owe me a graduation present.
Very funny.
At least you can say you're related to an all-conference and all-district baseball player. How does that feel?
I will admit, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Hey, Dalen.
Yeah?
At least you could say you're related to a famous sports media person. What's that like?
I wouldn't know. But I do know to watch the Main Street Sports Show on Livestream STL.
The Main Street Sports Show, shining a light in Jefferson County.
Very funny.
Tell us we can't, and we'll prove you wrong. Knock us down, and we'll get right back up. Call us risk takers, misfits, bad boys. But we know what we want, and it feels like American muscle, looks like advanced engineering, and smells like fresh, cut grass. Bad boy, mow with an attitude.
Ray, and I'll say real quick, I really admire what you guys do with this. I think everybody who's ever tuned into one of these, whether it's a Legion game, whether it's a high school baseball game, with basketball, football, whatever it is, I've heard nothing but tremendous feedback about Livestream STL and what you guys do and the quality of production, things like that. I would really encourage anybody who's involved in athletics throughout the county, or really anywhere in the metro area, anybody who's interested in sponsoring activities to get on board and get involved with this. I think it's added a ton to what we do here. It's added a ton to the program. You guys are a class act. You're committed to doing things the right way, and we really appreciate that.
Wiley Agencies have locations in Festus and Arnold to serve you. We offer home, vehicle, business, and life insurance, as well as investments and much more. We utilize a custom approach to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. Give us a call today for great rates and savings at 636-764-6294 for the Festus office or 636-333-9903 for the Arnold office. We'll be happy to review your current coverage or just talk sports. You can also email us at SeanWiley@allstate.com.
We hope you're enjoying tonight's presentation. Take advantage of the HD experience here with Livestream STL by going to the TKDS Sports Network app. Download the app and subscribe by going to videos.tkdssports.com. That'll get you access onto our TKDS Sports app, Roku, and Fire Stick. And thanks so much for your support of Livestream STL.
Hey, this is Chris Miller, and you're watching the Coach's Box on Livestream STL, the best sports streaming show there is on Facebook.
All right, we are back for our final segment here, and been a little quiet on the Livestream STL side as far as broadcasts are concerned. We got a couple of 3 weeks off here, but we want to throw something out here for you folks. We are in the midst of putting football season together. We're doing something a little different this season, doing what we call priority scheduling with some of the schools, and you as a school, if you're interested in having us out there, get a hold of us. We've got a pretty cheap package to put together where it gives you priority scheduling, and also same thing with your sponsorships. If you've got a handful of sponsors you can throw our way, this is where you get a hold of us here. LivestreamSTL@outlook.com, or you can give us a call 314-852-4398. And again, thanks so much to TJ's Bar and Grill. Thanks so much to these guys here in Peabody, Missouri. Here, give them a call 636-475-3648. TJ'sBarandGrill.com. appreciate those guys. As we move on to our next segment, and we're going to go ahead and open up the microphones and hope that everybody's going here. I think we are.
We are. The nice thing now about not being a head coach is that I get to come up with ideas or topics that are controversial or somewhat semi-controversial that you all have to talk about.
Great.
Now, of course, Miller doesn't ever show up, so he doesn't ever get to put his 2 cents.
I mean, you have to be on the show. I mean, I'm thinking we should have blacked that picture out. Look at that big fat meathead on there. And
we could put Coach Spruill on there. He's been wanting to be on there anyway, so we can change him out right there.
Miller might have to go on assignment. You never know.
Well, Duvall just homered to left center. Way to go, Miller. You're bringing home a loser. We're losing 4-3.
Hey, it's not just him. It's been all year. So here's my idea for a topic here. Talking about, as a head coach, you have decisions that you have to make. You guys have so many decisions that goes through your mind on a daily basis. One of them deals with your roster at the varsity level. It also, for a program, you can look at it top down, bottom up, whatever. I want you guys to talk about it. But in a small school setting, and I will still say that Herky, even though they've bumped up to Class 4, I still consider you guys a relatively small school.
We do too.
Okay.
I wish.
So how do you, as head coaches, boys and girls, deal with playing time of underclassmen at the varsity level, the ability to play at the varsity level? What are the pros? What are the cons? What goes into your decision-making process when it comes to dealing with freshmen, sophomores?
Well, I'll start it out. I think it all boils down to what does your upperclassmen look like as far as commitment, as far as talent, as far as ability. And then, then you also look at those younger classmen and you say, okay, hey, is that younger classman group got a chance to be successful as they get older? Do I break them up and take a couple from the freshman group, take them from sophomore, and move them up to the varsity and commit them with, maybe 6 or 7 upperclassmen, and then all of a sudden I've got 12 or 13 kids, and now I've got that. So I think there's so many avenues that you look at as far as that goes, but I think the biggest thing for me is, this is going to be my 12th year as head coach, and I've had one girl start all 4 years as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior at the varsity level. And that's one girl. So I've never had anybody else in 12 years.
Paige Fowler.
No, that was incorrect.
That
was incorrect.
Who was
it? That was Taylor Metcalf.
Yeah, it was Metcalf.
So, and I've had some really good players, but they've never started all 4 years of every varsity contest. So I can tell you in a small school, that's very unheard of, because a lot of small schools, your numbers aren't there. You know what I mean? So
is it the kindergarten phrase, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit?
You got it. You got it. But I think that it boils down to you've got to look at the whole picture side of it. I mean, is that kid going to make a difference that year or at that point, or is that kid going to make a difference for the next 3 years? Is that the philosophy you're looking at? Okay, hey, can I sacrifice that? I've got 6 or 7 quality upperclassmen that are really, really good that can maybe have a chance to be successful, or do I have 1 or 2 freshmen that maybe can come up and maybe be just as good as some of those juniors and sophomores? Do I bring them up now and let them sink or swim, or do I let them get development and let them learn how to play at a younger level and get some experience and get their feet wet a little bit before I bring them up right to the varsity? And I think that's, to me, is a big kind of thing that I look at as far as that the program goes. I look at all the numbers. I look at every class, and I decide, is that going to help our program? Right now or
and
2 years down the road.
And the future.
I think that has to be the biggest focus.
What do you think?
I mean, what do you think, Coach?
Is it different coaching girls, coaching guys, just due to the nature of the two different genders, or what?
I just think it's a situation of your team and maybe Injury has injuries can play into it.
COVID-19.
I mean, I've had this is my third year I've had a player tear an ACL, and so in 3 years in a row, and so I've never had a freshman start all the way through since I've been here either, and this will be my 7th year coming up. This year, I had some guys. It was hard to decide what to do with some of my sophomores because they could help me on varsity. We needed them on varsity. We needed some scoring. There was some scoring on my JV level. But then did I hinder my JV so bad? I wanted them to still win. I knew we were going to struggle at the varsity level this year a little bit. I mean, Josh Moreland, we lost our best returning scorer, rebounder, and losing him forced me to play some kids that probably wouldn't have played on the varsity as much.
Could I say this? Weren't ready?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't have said they weren't ready. I mean, they proved to be ready. I mean, we beat Pius the second time, and there was 3 sophomores that played a
quality minutes,
pivotal role in us winning that game. And one of them, Ethan Hoskins, who is out right now rehabbing his torn ACL, and he stepped up in that game, and I just played him on both. My son, after about 7 games in, I just said, you know what? I need him on the varsity. I'm just going to him on there. Now, I ticked off some people because I played him in JV too.
So I'm going to bring up that. We have the 6-quarter rule.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have for football? It's different.
Well, it's I don't know how it is exactly.
How many quarters a week? How many quarters a week?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Volleyball, I think they have. Baseball have. Okay. So I'm going to ask you this, right? And you just brought it up. 6 quarters a night. What are the pros and what are the cons? How does that affect both levels, varsity and JV?
Well, I had such a big sophomore class. Okay. So it was like 10 kids. And I had to move some of them up. I mean, I just had to. And almost all my sophomores dressed at some point. I even dressed a freshman a couple games this year. So I don't look at, this guy's a freshman, he can't play varsity. If they're better than someone else, then they're going to play. And, I had to just make a decision later on in the year, and I just started playing sophomores more, and we started winning some games. And it wasn't just because of the sophomores, but I kept them playing JV too because I wanted them to play with their age.
Right.
All right, because they did. I mean, my son went through some struggles, and I started playing him down on JV, and it helped him in the varsity games because he got confidence down there in the JV games.
Okay. So let me ask and bring that back to you. You talk about, let's say you have a big class, a big sophomore class like you had last year, and you said, well, do you keep them together or do you break the team up? Is it a good idea to break the class up? Because I look at it like it could be a negative, but it could be a positive because you let these guys that are let's just say the studs of that group, they go up, and now it forces these guys that are role players to now they develop. What do you think?
And I only had 3 juniors.
Okay.
Which are seniors now. Okay. So that made the decision a little easier too, as I didn't have very many juniors. Maybe I had 4, I think. So it made the decision a little easier for me.
I firmly believe here 2 things that I think. Okay, so you leave them down, and they get a taste of what it is to win.
Okay.
And to win together. Or on the flip side of that, you bring them up to varsity level and they fail a little bit. And maybe they're not ready, but you bring them up to make them humble a little bit to say, hey, I got to go to work.
Yeah.
This is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm not good enough yet. I got to go do some work.
Right.
And I mean, as far as a coaching standpoint, I've done that. And, a lot of people criticize me on that because, I'm going to put a kid in a position to have success, but I'm also going to put a kid in a position to maybe fail a little bit to learn that it's not how talented you are, it's how well you handle failure. And a lot of kids today don't know how to fail. So when they do fail, let's say you bring them up to the varsity level, even not even as a freshman or a sophomore, but now they get to juniors, and they don't know what it's like to fail, and they start failing right away in the very beginning of their junior year, and they just give up. I'm done. I'm over. You know, and because they never learned. So I you kind of got to stride that fence a little bit and say, okay, at what point do you decide I'm going to go ahead and let those kids come up and play and mix them up a little bit and see how they handle, playing maybe with older classmen, or do you leave them down there? And I thought he did a really good job this year with that sophomore class because he let them play at the very beginning of the year together
after Christmas
and learn how to play together and win. So now they brought that winning mentality to the second half of the season. Now he mixed them up a little bit.
Not that this would have ever happened, but let's use this as a quote. A parent comes up to you after a ball game and says, i.e. to your sophomores that you're playing down and playing up, well, what are you doing, Coach? Are the JV players or the varsity players? Because their senior isn't playing as many minutes as they had either the year before or the games
had that
before.
Happen.
How do you deal with that?
Well,
not that anything like that would ever happen.
Never. But I think
this is when Coach Jarvis gets quiet.
But I'm not going to be quiet about this because I think it's a good learning point for parents. It's a good learning point for the kids to understand that, you know what, I'm here to help you as a player, but more importantly as a person.
I'm a senior.
And
I don't care. I've been here 4 years. I've been in your program, Belair.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the exact same thing.
Joe's not playing. She's been in there 4 years. She's not playing.
My kid hasn't missed a practice. My kid hasn't missed a shootout. Why is my kid not playing? Why is this kid playing over my kid? She's a sophomore. He's a sophomore.
I mean, and
these are the thousands upon thousands of things that coaches deal with that I don't necessarily think, outside looking in, they ever gets thought about.
But is your answer different than my answer? Is my answer more correct than your answer or his answer? And I think it's all depending on the situation and the kid and then the program. I've had a lot of parents come to me as senior parents and say, "Man, my kid's not playing," but they've been at everything. They show up, they're there all the time.
That goes back to the role player mentality or just knowing what your role is. And as a coach and having kids, so I'm on both sides of this thing.
Yes.
And so it's difficult. I mean.
So what's this parent-coach conversation going to be like?
I had this. I mean, my son, goes to another school in the county and plays sports, and he's not the best player on the floor. And I went to many games this year and saw my kids sit for, out of the 28 minutes, he set 26 of them. He played the last 2 minutes of the game. And as a coach,
what grade was he in?
Freshman.
Yeah, because we only had 6 freshmen. So, I mean, I don't think that would have been a problem. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Hold on, time out. Are you using the R word right now? Or the undue influence right now?
Whoa.
Hey, whoa. I just wanted to let you know I'm not involved in any of this.
We have a new commercial coming out talking about that R word. I'm just saying, new commercial about the R word. So check it out. Coming to a theater near you. There you go. Right?
But, as a coach, I sat back and I started to look at it as a coach standpoint, but then I said, man, that's my kid, though. I gotta know what's going on. And so, I found myself this year questioning my philosophy as a coach compared to my philosophy as a parent. Is it different?
It is.
100%
it's 100% different.
And
I take that back. I don't think it is because I went through it with my son this year, first time being involved in school sports, but it was at the junior high level.
Correct.
Which I have a completely different philosophy when it comes to that.
And I'm not going to lie. I went to some of my coaches that are coaching friends, and it was a difficult situation with my son.
Sure it was.
But some of them guys were like, he should have been starting a long time ago. Or why didn't you, like, I had someone saying last year he should be playing as a freshman. I'm like, you're outside your mind. But, you know, those are hard situations for a coach. And even if it's not your kid, it's a hard situation. Like, do you think I want to sit a senior who's put all this work in for me, who's done everything I've asked? Yes, sir, no, sir. But if he's not as good as someone else and isn't doing the things to get better or hasn't, I have to play that other person.
Or has he or she played their role? And understand, hey, my role last year, because I was on a team that maybe my role was I need to score 12 or 14 points. Well, now in this year, my role is I gotta average 6 or 8 steals a game and maybe 8 or 9 assists. My role is different this year compared to what it was last year.
Oh, and I've had those conversations already. I mean,
those kids don't know how to deal with that. So if I say, hey, your role's changed now, here's what I want your role to be, all of a sudden those kids now don't know what to take with that, and so they shut down. They shut off.
Christopher Taylor here has a great thing. As a coach, you're all teaching a key aspect in life that is beyond sports. It's a tough lesson called life. And he goes on, talks about you have to be at your best, otherwise you're replaced, outsourced, or worse. I mean, we're all replaceable.
Oh, my God.
I've learned that in the education field. I've learned that real easy and real fast. You are replaceable, and they won't blink an eye once they fire you.
But, you know,
or they let you go. I've never been fired, but I mean, you know, whatever the thing may be.
They can eliminate whatever they want to
but
eliminate.
it's at any job now. I mean, you know, and
you look at the standpoint of younger classmen and why is so many younger classmen you feel like they have earned their right to be a varsity player as a
Well,
senior.
here you go.
And it goes
now,
the same way for seniors, too.
Flip-flop it.
I was going to point that.
In a small school setting like we've all been around, and honestly, even in a big school setting, depending on roster numbers, you have that mentality of players and parents, well, my kid's a freshman, my kid's a sophomore, they should be up on varsity. Not only should they be up on varsity, they should be starting, and they should be the star. And it's like, well, wait a second. What have you done? You said that. What have you done to earn? Because I think we lose sight.
Right.
I think we do as parents, and I think even us, we can take a step back. And I think as parents, we lose sight of sports is supposed to be a meritocracy. It's supposed to be on. It's not everybody. Like I say, everybody gets a jersey. Everybody
gets an ice cream cone.
An ice cream cone, right?
True.
It's supposed to be about, at least at the varsity level, in my opinion, it's trying to put the best product on the floor to win. The lower levels is all about development.
I mean, and I've been around a bunch of different programs. I mean, I've taught at 7 different schools. So, I mean, I've gotten to see a lot of different programs. And, you know, one thing that I always turn to and think of when a parent asks me something about playing time or whatever, I mean, a coach's reaction wants to go, do you think I'm going to put people out in the court that's not going to win me a basketball game? I'm trying to put the people out there that I think or that I have enough knowledge on what's went on in practice and everything else to win the game. I'm not going to put kids out there to lose.
But I don't think that's a focus. I think the focus is I want my child to play over winning.
Now.
Right.
Now.
Over winning.
Now.
My child's playing time is more important to me as a parent because over winning. Because at the end of the day, when we ride home in the car and he or she is pouty, why are you pouty? Well, I didn't play. And as a parent, you want the best for your child.
And I think this topic is
Ray's got his hand up.
This topic is a very, very, very very
sensitive?
Large
It is.
topic,
It is. And
but it's a very,
so.
very sensitive
and
topic.
So.
And it's more sensitive to the fact of as coaches, what is our role?
I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now.
I asked our AD.
As a parent, my feelings has not changed, but my feeling I have softened.
Oh my gosh!
Now
yes.
you know that word, empathy. Totally understanding now that my son's coming up through
trying to
school
say you're
sports.
soft? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm trying to say before.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about your feelings.
Yes.
I care, like you said, I don't care about your feelings. I'm trying to win a varsity game.
Right.
Now, as going through it, it's kind of like, I get it.
Yeah.
I
But,
totally
but here's my
understand.
question.
Go
Here's
ahead.
my question. Every season, you guys, I know, probably have some sort of something that goes out to all the parents. And it says, this is our expectations, yada, 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 right?
Doesn't matter.
Right?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. This is why we have the coaches box. One of the main reasons, and we'll argue. We all 4 or 5 of us argue about this whole thing, but I think it's always important to know that we've got this as a tool to be able to say, listen, Jason Jarvis, you're going out to your team and say, hey, we're going to talk about this certain thing, and I want you guys watching tonight. Boom. Situations in a subject like this is so important, I think, not only to coaches, but to the parents to understand where you're coming from, but also from the students where you're coming from, and maybe even beyond. So, I mean, I think that's to me is so key. If you walked into this season as the coaches coming to the coaches box, you all have your expectations that either gets emailed out or passed out or whatever, and we sit here and we talk about this at the same time. There is no excuse.
Doesn't matter, right? In a utopian society, that's great. If this was our list of expectations, it's toilet paper.
Those are the questions for.
I know.
That's
I know.
for trivia.
I
Maybe
know.
if I lose, it is going to be
But-
toilet paper.
But
Because the guns were out.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, and you guys can say what you want. That's a pipe
We will.
dream. It's a pipe dream. There's a reason
There's
I'll
a
say-
reason why we have to outline all
Hold on,
that stuff
hold on,
before
time
the
out.
season starts.
There's a reason. There's a reason why this is my 3rd shirt in 3 years, Ray. You don't think we had expectations?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're lit, and I get it, and we want it as coaches. But at the end of the day,
right.
It's not that way.
Here's what
He
here's
said
a
it's
philosophy,
not
and
that way.
I think there's a lot of comments here that I think we want to read some of these, but I firmly believe that we all have different mindsets when it comes to coaching. But at the end of the day, what are we all here for?
Oh, we're here for the kids.
I've never one time
Glorified volunteers.
I've never one time put a kid in a position to make them miserable. I've never put a kid in a position to make, and none of you have ever done that.
That's what I
have.
told-
You ever put a kid in a position to maybe make them learn? Absolutely.
Right.
That's a difference. And I think as parents, I never realized it until my kids got older, like you said. And now I start realizing it, and I'm a little softer in my side of the way I look at things.
You say you're soft.
Or approach.
I'm a softer approach. I 100% agree with you.
Oh,
And
yeah. He's soft.
Amy will tell me this last year and a half has softened me a lot because
Amy, jump on a mic up there.
my kids
Do it.
My kids have
Jump on a mic.
become more older and more involved in stuff, and I've seen more things happen in my own personal as far as my kids go that I don't have a lot of control over.
Right.
So it changes my philosophy when I'm coaching my own kids that I'm coaching year round in whatever sport. So it really changes the philosophy of you as a coach, but as a parent.
Right.
And I think
Don't pull
it
on
goes
that
a
too
lot
much.
it goes a lot hand in hand.
So
Amy,
you talk now
before she
we're
goes
live,
on here.
and there's no dump button. So be careful what you say. I know, but you were saying before the show you wanted. Hey, you had perspective as a parent, having kids already gone through school and kids still in school. So tell us, what do you think as a parent? When we hear about this stuff, what's your reaction?
My reaction is that if they put in the time and they put in the work and they are better than the ones that are seniors or upperclassmen, heck yeah. Yeah.
They need to play?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, and I'll go back to the comments. We look at some of these comments, and Coach Winkler says if a freshman has a better singing voice, acting skills, they get the lead in the drama production. Do parents get upset about that?
Yeah, they
I would assume so.
And I think that's a perfect example. It's not just necessarily in sports. I mean, it goes along with, band. Same thing. I'm not the first slip person.
I'm not ever been an AD, but I hear cheerleading's an issue.
Oh,
at
is.
schools.
Sure,
I
it
don't.
is.
I mean,
so I think that's a lot of it.
Really? Really? I mean, do you even have to say that? I mean, can you imagine? No. I can't believe there's drama in cheerleading.
Gosh, here we go. That's another subject for another day. Coach Duncan says, I tell my kids and the kids that play for me that every day is a tryout. And that's the mentality you as a coach, but as a parent. Every day you step out, you tell your kid, every day you step out and do something, you're trying out for somebody else wants your job. Somebody else wants your job. That's in everyday life. There's somebody better than you out there.
You're just preparing them, yes.
There's somebody better out there for
Yes.
you. And then you will be replaced.
That's what I was
Somebody will
saying.
replace you.
I
Absolutely,
agree, Miller.
somebody will
So
replace
I'll
you.
just ask him now. So Jill is going to be the starting point guard, right? I mean, that's my
that's your expectation.
That are my expectations.
That's
if
the
she
issue.
gets a varsity
the parent
jersey.
expectation
So,
and the coach expectation.
You thought you had some parents, boy. You got one this year, man.
Knocking on the door.
Can't wait.
Dude,
Yeah.
she
Wait.
can't dribble from here to the fence. But
By golly, because you're Coach Jarvis, she's my starting point
yes,
guard.
there you go.
Wait,
and
that
if your
things
son,
like that,
and
things
I'm
like that
not
would never
recruiting
happen,
as
right?
was said. I bet if your son was to happen to transfer, I'm probably
saying-
not going to start him at point guard.
That's probably true.
we played DeSoto, so I'm not going to probably start him at point guard. But
Very good idea.
But it is.
But,
if Jill doesn't start,
well, and then
it's fire and brimstone.
And then Coach
now if
Dunk-
I thought Jill, okay, let's throw it out there. If I thought Jill should really,
Okay.
like I
There
really
you
thought she
go.
should start.
Let's say it.
I'm not going to say something. I'm not going to call Blair and go, well, why isn't? No way.
No, you're going to sit in the stands and talk behind his back.
No.
Right?
I would
Can
say
you believe this guy? You got this girl that
Not
should be
with
a
Blair. I would say it to his face.
Exactly right.
Well, actually, with
You know what?
I mean,
and
Last year, I was the one that was telling him that his son should have been starting varsity.
Oh yeah,
That
she
was
told me that a lot.
And
And I
I'll
was
go
like,
back to
all the
this.
time.
I'll go back to
But
this.
hold on, why? We've never asked you why, at least on air. Why? What's the fear? Or you don't have to answer if you want to.
He will.
well, I mean, it's
He's
not,
already said it before.
well,
Perception.
It's the perception factor of, and I remember at school when I was at Festus, and I remember those parents that were coaches, and I remember the hell that those kids went through. Some of them, well, you only play because you're dead, and I have heard kids say that to my son. So
Had it happen to me.
it's a hard situation, and I didn't bring him right off the bat and start him on varsity. He wasn't ready anyway. In my eyes,
Right.
But once I decided that I thought he was ready, I did, and he wasn't the only sophomore. I started playing more sophomores. I mean, it wasn't like Dylan Jarvis was inserted. He was inserted in the starting lineup, but and it's the things that people don't see of why we make those decisions.
There you go.
It may be that this kid is better than so-and-so. Say this kid was better than my son, but at practice, this kid gives me body language and doesn't work hard and doesn't run in the sprints and doesn't do this and doesn't do that. Then
has been written up how many times that you can't explain, or
misses
misses
practice, or
misses
didn't come
Has a
all summer,
disciplinary
or
classroom,
I
right?
don't know. There's a list of them.
But there's
It's not about. Well, it's not. Everything isn't about what they're doing on the court.
It's exactly right. And
I
Coach
mean-
Winkler said that. He said, I hate when a kid says, you never give me a chance. That's incorrect. You get a chance every day. Every day you wake up, you get a chance.
You don't think your
to prove
kids
yourself.
right now, do your kids right now, even though it's dead week and we don't play basketball for another couple months, don't you think they have an opportunity right now?
Sure they do.
Yeah, but it's not at the
Not
gym.
no.
It's at their home. It's at the YMCA. It's at the Civic Center. It's at a weight room. It's all these other things besides simply showing up on practice.
Well, and what you're saying is, yes, it's true. Are you going to go outside and do anything? Like the other day, I was sitting there, and my son gets up, and I'm going to go out and shoot, and he was out there for 3 or 4 hours. He doesn't always do it. He doesn't do it as much as I want him to do it, but he is doing it. And kids, right now, I mean, I know I have a kid that's playing basketball every single day, and in my program, and that's all he does. I mean, that's all he does.
Lives in the gym.
And so
On the court.
all of those things we take into consideration when you're playing kids. And how they treat a referee or how they, maybe they talk back to my coach at practice yesterday, and that's why they're not starting. Or maybe they smarted off to a teacher in class, and so I had to pull them and sit them. I mean, you don't just sit kids because, I don't like it.
Once again, as I said, you don't wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, how can I make this kid's life miserable?
Hey, and I've played kids that I might have not necessarily cared for a whole lot.
Yes.
You have a kid who's a good basketball player, but deep down he does some things that you don't agree with, but you're still going to play that kid. It's not like you're, I'm going to hold that against him, So there's so many things that go into it.
There's so many comments on here, and I know we can't read them all, but, Chris Taylor says one day the hope are that these kiddos look back and appreciate the qualities that you all have in your programs. And that's at the end of the day, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
I'm as much the one to love and win as much as right now, every day, all day. But
I don't care what it is. It could be this. It could be this cranium cup that I have right now in my possession.
Absolutely.
Well, and
we're competitive people.
You guys are talking about. I can bring up a player that started as a freshman and all the way through, Alex Perry. Jones would have been an idiot not to start her.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then like Coach Winkler says, I agree with Coach McVay. I think that even at the JV level, all should get to play. Not necessarily equal playing time, but for development.
Right.
And I think that goes to
What
say
Miller
is,
said.
I know he's getting me going.
It's Cranium Cup trivia time.
And then
Ray
Casey,
is impatient.
I know. Wait till we get finished with the segment.
This is a really good topic, Ray. I don't think we need to interrupt in that.
Well,
we can
I
do
will,
this
I
next
will
week.
give
I
you
don't
the
care.
trophy, and you can hold on to it.
But
is that good enough?
Casey Day, Coach Day, he was a part of our program down here, and very knowledgeable and has dealt with a lot of different kids and different things. The best available plays. It's kind of goes with what Blair was saying. They have to learn and understand what failure is. If a player is not getting as much playing time, they might mean something that isn't going right in practice. Maybe something's not going. Maybe they're not doing something right, How many times have you had a kid come up and ask you, hey, what do I got to do to get better? What do I got to do to get playing time? What do I got to do?
But sometimes it's not about them.
No.
It's not.
No.
A kid could say, what do I need to do to get better? Listen, you are doing everything you possibly can, but at the end of the day, you're not in that top 8, 9, 10 that roll.
Right.
We're not all 6'6". We can't all run a 4.40. We all don't hit 500-foot home runs.
Yep.
It's just
well,
there's the ceiling.
We all don't shoot 40% from three. We don't all rebound well. We don't.
You have to have that conversation.
And not every day.
And it's yeah.
And I think Chris
don't
Taylor's,
sidestep the question, Blair.
Well, I'm not.
Jill is starting on varsity.
I went right over that.
That was a question for you.
Chris Taylor said, and I think
no,
he said Blair.
He's really putting some good stuff out here. Do these same parents go to their respective jobs with the same outlook?
Thank you.
How many times do parents that question us as coaches go to the same
That's the answer.
outlook?
Well, you're opening up a whole other can of worms.
And I think
that
it's
I
great.
Can say,
I'm not saying this. These are comments of
that
viewers.
just brought a comment up of me.
And
can I go down to their job and go in and ask to talk to their superior?
No.
There's your answer.
Heck no is what he said. Heck no.
Not only no, heck no, right?
Complacency breeds ignorance. I think that's give 100% and get back that and more. It's called moxie. I will step off my soapbox now. I think that's a perfect example, though, Chris. Chris Taylor makes a perfect example of a lot of that common that maybe a lot of parents, and I'm very much capable of that same situation. I want to know why my kid's not playing, But how many times have I had a conversation with my kid and asked, hey, what are you doing to get more playing time?
How are you going to make it better?
What are you doing to get more playing time? Not what is your coach doing to get you more playing time? What are you doing to get more playing time?
What have you been doing in practice? That would be one of my first questions to my kid.
100%.
And they look at you like, well,
and Coach Miller, I know you still sit kids because you don't like them. Trust me, I know. We don't. Just kidding, Coach. Just kidding.
Ray,
he does do that.
Do you want to do a short break and then come back and do trivia?
No, let's go straight into it.
All right, so before we do trivia,
we're not over.
Obviously we're over.
No, hour 36.
Ray wants to do trivia. Look, zoom in on this. Zoom in on this. This is from Miller.
Hold on, let me get it.
I want this
Hold on.
Got some bugs.
Oh, so you helped Miller? Is
No,
that what-
exactly. I knew that was coming.
St. Pius X in cahoots.
Hey, I didn't.
I think it's
I didn't
even
bring
licked. Is it licked?
I don't. He hey,
Does
he
it
gives
say-
this
Something's on
to
the
me.
bag. It's
It
stuck.
is nothing. You're going to read the questions. Has that been tampered with in any way, shape, or form?
Does that
No.
say all
No.
the answers for Zach McVay are right here?
Jeez, it's kind of stuck hard.
Yeah.
Hey. All right.
It's on you, Amy.
Carpenter got a hit. It must be because Miller's there.
Salsa.
Coach
salsa
Winkler,
time.
I don't know that it has anything to do with Coach
they're
Miller.
typed, even better.
He just said Carpenter got a hit.
All
That's
right.
I still hate him. I don't hate
Oh my
it.
gosh.
Okay.
I hate the way he plays.
He's batting 130 now, just more than Miller is batting on the show.
But Hayes,
Oh,
he's
showing
got
up.
5 home runs.
The
For
only
for the
thing
last
he's-
2 months,
Yeah.
he's been. Chris is in a slump. I mean, seriously, he's in a slump.
He's in a donut. It's Bull Durham. I'm a donut hole for 16.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you're watching, Coach.
Start the music. Here's the
Man,
question.
Ray must have a hot date tonight.
He
Start the
he
music.
wants the cup.
Good luck.
We want the cup. We
All right, Amy.
want the cup.
Okay, the 2003 Chicago Cubs held a series led of 3 games to 1 in the NLCS. This is a paragraph. Hang on. Against the Florida Marlins,
God
going
dang you,
into Game
Miller.
6 of the series. The Cubs squandered a 3-0 lead in the game that became famous due to a fan named Steve Bartman.
Oh yeah, of
Reaching
course.
out of the stands and deflecting a potentially catchable foul ball from Cubs outfielder.
Who? Moises
Moises Alou.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, that was a question.
I
I
did
was
too.
like,
Hey, we can go with that.
Wait,
I thought it was. Hey, everybody
wait.
got one. Everybody got one.
hold up. With 1 out in the 8th inning, the Cubs went on to lose Game 6 by a score of 8-3, and eventually losing Game 7 as well. Who was the Cubs pitcher assigned with the loss in Game 6 in the 2003 NLCS?
Answers.
That could have been that last sentence.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, Kyle Farnsworth, Mike Rimlinger. Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, Kyle Farnsworth, and Mike Rimlinger.
What inning did that happen?
Said it was 6.
6. Game 6. And it was the 8th inning.
Oh, it was the 8th inning.
8th inning.
That makes a difference.
Do I need to read the question again? This
No.
whole paragraph.
Just answers.
Again?
Kerry Wood, Pryor, Farnsworth, something.
Rimlinger.
Remlinger. Okay.
Can you see over there?
No.
I think it was this one.
I know. I was getting a little worried.
Sorry.
You kind
I
of.
can't
He was
see that
kind of
far.
eyeing up this way too.
All right, what we got?
Let's see.
Farnsworth. We all got Farnsworth.
Nope. Mark Pryor.
Oh.
God, I was gonna circle Pryor.
Me too.
Oh!
Me too.
I thought it was Farnsworth.
Bum, bum, bum.
I didn't know Pryor was in
Yeah.
the 8th inning.
I can say.
Suck again.
Wow.
Never knew he pitched that deep into games.
I think. Well, I mean, you could pitch that deep in games.
Yeah.
I guess in 2003 you could.
That's why he didn't have a long career.
Well, I can tell you this: our 2 new pitchers aren't ever going to get there. But anyway, go ahead.
You ready?
Like
Sure.
Only 3 NFL players have rushed for 1,000 or more yards
yeah.
and tallied 1,000 or more receiving yards in a single season. Which of the following players did not achieve this feat?
Did not.
Did not achieve.
Did not.
Oh my God.
Did
Tomlinson.
Oh, the Dalian Thomason.
LT?
Yep, that's it.
LT for sure.
Thank you. Roger Craig, Marshall Falk, Christian McCaffrey. LT, Roger Craig, Marshall Falk, Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey. Now, what's the question again?
1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving.
Did not get.
Did not achieve. Can you see through this? Okay.
In one season? Is that what he said?
They've never done it. They've never
Never done it
accomplished
ever.
Ever.
Never done it ever.
Ever.
Yards in a single season.
I have no earthly idea.
I think
Okay.
it's. I think it's.
Just
Ready?
take a guess.
Ready?
I'm just going to guess. That's what it is.
I think it's that one.
Guess.
I think it's that one.
LT.
Oh, really?
Man, who got it? Anybody?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Wow.
I almost picked LT too, but I was like, nah, it's
way.
Craig.
What the freak?
You guys are doing
Miller,
great.
we got no points.
Gosh,
guys
we
are
may
doing
this may be a
fabulous.
one-question winner.
You know, your commercial that you cut shot is not looking too good right now.
it is not. It is not. I might need a new
All right,
pen.
question number 3.
Stephon Curry
Steph Curry.
Oh, Steph Curry. Okay.
is the NBA's all-time free throw percentage leader with a career mark of 90.69%, including all current and former NBA and ABA players, who is second all-time on this list. Steve Nash, Ray Allen, Chauncey
Billups.
Mark Price. Nash, Allen, Billups, or Price.
You know this. You feel confident, don't you?
I feel confident, but I don't know if it's right.
I don't either. My marker's out. What do you got?
Nash.
No way! I thought it was Nash.
Oh,
Dadgummit.
man.
I knew it.
Oh, all
I
right.
knew it.
All
Yeah,
right, last question.
you would be a Nash fan. You kind of look like him now.
Last question.
Grow that hair out.
Yadi Molina just passed Pujols for 4th place on the St. Louis Cardinals all-time career hit list. Who is in 3rd place on the list? Slaughter, Brock, Hornsby,
Can I borrow your pen?
Red something.
Shane Dees.
That's Shaney.
Thank you.
I need it. I need another pen. All right, say it again. Slaughter.
Who?
Slaughter.
Oh, sorry. Slaughter, Brock, Hornsby, and Red.
Shane Dees.
So what? The question is, how many doubles?
No, who's the third
Most
and hits?
Molina passed Pujols for 4th place in the Cardinals all-time career hit list. Who is 3rd place on the list?
Hornsby. That's what I got. Answers.
Total guess.
Answers.
Come on,
No
Blair.
idea.
I had my marker given away.
Hornsby.
Shoot.
So we're tied.
I'm out.
1, 1, and 1.
Gosh, the gun show was terrible.
Case of a tie question.
She's so quick firing out the answer, too. Like,
Yeah, give us a second here to
Oh,
write
I'm
it down.
sorry.
Lisa, okay?
This is tiebreaker now. This
Tiebreaker.
I thought you guys were good at this.
Man,
That's why Miller had to quit.
We're feeling pretty good about ourselves here.
Well, that
Let's
was
go.
awful.
Okie dokie.
Tiebreaker question?
Hurry up. This segment
You
stinks.
said go slow.
This segment sucks.
Well, yeah, because you're out now.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Newly acquired Cardinal great cough. Oh, he says cough. John Lester. I was like, what's cough mean? Had a great season for the rival Chicago Cubs in 2016 when he posted a 19-5 record, an ERA of 2.44, and finished second place.
Yada. What's the question?
That's what
She needs to read it all.
Who won the National League Young Award?
Cy Young.
Yes. Guys, do you want to read these questions?
Yes.
Well,
I can read it. I'm
Here,
out.
let me read it.
No!
I'm gonna say,
Cy
I'm
Young
out. I can
Award
read
in
it.
2016, beating out John Lester.
So who won the Cy Young, NL Cy Young in
Yes.
2016?
I wanted to finish the question.
14,
Okay.
wasn't
Kershaw.
He said 16.
Oh,
Hold up. 2016.
Yeah.
okay.
Kershaw. DeGrom. What's this? Scherzer. Or
That's
Bauer.
B.
Last one?
Gosh, A is Kershaw, B is DeGrom, C is Scherzer, and D is Bauer.
That's what I said.
We had
They
a
asked
second.
for it again.
Oh, man.
Who do you think? Do you think? Do.
Okay, so Kershaw.
Come on, one
who was
time.
B?
DeGrom.
DeGrom.
My Lord,
Kershaw,
dude.
DeGrom, Scherzer,
Scherzer,
or Bauer.
Come on, one time.
You guys are all tied?
Yes, we're all tied. This is it. This is tiebreaker.
He's got a couple more.
Flip it.
Probably got wrong.
What'd you put?
He's
What'd
wrong.
you put? What'd you put?
You're wrong.
Scherzer.
Hey, you know why he won? I didn't include him in the commercial.
That's right.
So I didn't even say
So there you
Ray,
go.
and then he wins.
Yes.
Goldschmidt sack fly, and the
Are
old
we tied now?
Carpenter scored.
Are we tied now?
What?
Cardinal game tied?
Cardinal game?
Yep,
I thought we were
4-4.
winning. Oh, 4-4.
Well, no.
All right. Hold on. I'd like to thank the Academy. This only happened what? 3 times? 3 times. Thank you. I'd like to thank my mother. I'd like to thank my family. Thank you.
All right, show's over.
Okay.
Show's over. All
now.
right.
Show's over.
Hey, no, hey, but
Show's over.
Good show. I thought that last segment was something
we still had about 10 more minutes of talking on that.
I think
so
we needed to talk about that, and
I think we could talk more about that next week.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that was good stuff.
When basketball season rolls around, we talk about stuff like that too, because that will help.
I think it will.
I don't think it's going to help at all.
It helps us.
Well, it helps us kind of have a
help me
catharsis,
relieve
right?
a little bit
Exactly.
off of me.
It
you
doesn't
know?
help us when in the real world. But
no, it doesn't.
All right,
we let Ray, the hockey guy, beat us.
It happens.
Well, you beat me one night with a hockey question, remember? Remember that?
That's
Take
right.
us out, Ray.
Sure did.
All right, thanks for watching the Coach's Box. We'll be back here next week. Thursday next week, is that right? We haven't decided yet. We'll let you know here. Trying to get into our schedules and whatnot here for getting lined up for our regular high school season and whatnot. But thanks for watching tonight. We appreciate that. We will see you again next week. Have a great week.